everybody, and welcome back. As always, thank you for tuning in and spending a little time with us. Tuesday, the 10th day of December. It's been a sunny, albeit cold one. Thought today was cold. Well, just wait. We've got a little more cold air in the forecast. A big push of Arctic air is on its way into the viewing area, putting temperatures for daytime highs around 26, 27 degrees by this Thursday. But for the most part, and it is indeed for the most part with only a few minor exceptions, we've got clear skies, clear sailing, dry conditions for several days on end throughout most of the entire forecast period. But I fail to see a day that we will beat 41 degrees for the daytime high. And also, we're talking about that 26, 27 degree day on Thursday with a nighttime low in the low teens, unlike tonight where it's going to be the upper teens. No word on any school cancellations instead of cancellations at this hour. So we expect the buses to this point to be rolling tomorrow morning on regular schedule. We've received no information. Maybe an off call tonight will give us all a little bit of extra time to sleep in. Maybe not all of us. On tonight's program, as was expected, Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley was arraigned earlier today in federal court in Lexington, Kentucky. We'll have an update on that case. We'll also talk about filings for candidates here in Magoffin County. It's been about nearly 10 days since our last update, and probably nearly as many individuals to add to the list. And a lot of folks without water in Magoffin County tonight. For those living on Bear Branch, they've been without the utility service since Friday due to flooding and some complications with the company called in to help replace those lines have lengthened the outage. I'm still awaiting maybe a little bit of last-minute details to come on that report in just a second, and much more now what's left of the next half hour. Before we get to all those headlines, let's get to one of those, one of our top stories tonight. That is the updated list of candidate filings here in Magoffin County. You have until January the 28th if you so desire to file for office, many of which will be up for grabs on the May primary ballot. For now, here's your updated list. As of close of business this afternoon at the Magoffin County Court Clerk's Office, these are the individuals who have thus far filed to run for the respective offices here in Magoffin County. I'll also be adding to the list those offices who file for Frankfort, such as John Short, who has already filed for state representative, and other such races. We'll be adding those to you the next update. But for now, we have for County Judge Executive, this being your list of Gerald Howard, John Montgomery, and John Carty on the Republican ticket, Charles Knockhard and H.B. Arnott on the Democratic ticket. The Office of Sheriff is getting a little more lengthy. Garlena Minix-Likens, Mike Nichols, Hetzel Minix, and Carson Montgomery, all on the Republican ticket. The latest addition is Arthur Perkins, a Democrat, to join fellow Democrats Joshua Shepard, Clayton D. Howard, Bob Jordan, Rick Jordan, and Tim Watkins. In the race of coroner, it remains as it did last update. Paul Burchell on the Republican ticket, Michael Paul Howard, and current coroner Mark Jenkins on the Democratic ticket. The county court clerk's race has grown by one, as I only briefly referred to last week. Josie Wireman Bailey has filed to run for Magoffin County Court Clerk on the Republican ticket, thus far the only Republican to do so, joining Johnny Arnott and Court Clerk Renee Shepard on the Democratic ticket. County Attorney's race, still Greg Allen, Jeff Lovely as the only two candidates. The Jailer's race has grown by one, that being Ryan D. Arnott on the Republican ticket, joining Jailer Brian Montgomery and fellow Democrat Tex Holbrook. Property Valuation Administrator Jerry Sweeney. Magistrate's race in District 1 for Magoffin County, Republicans Brandon Minix and Bobby Bailey. Democrats Frankie Howard, Ralph Doug Allen, Gary Rooster Reisner. No changes there. No changes in the Magisterial District or the 2nd District of Magoffin County. Republican Johnny Bentley, Democrats Bucklermaster and Garrett Ward. New additions to the magistrate's race for District 3 in Magoffin County include Republicans Glenn Burks and Paula K. Peterson, joining other Republicans already filed Robert Lee Patrick and Ronnie Lovely. Two Democrats to add to magistrate of District 3, those being Matthew Chalmer Wireman and Billy Brown on the Democratic ticket, joining a great list of other Democrats. Brandon Isaac, Zachary Montgomery, Larry Bubby Carpenter, Ebb Shepard, Everett Allen, and Kelly Lee Miller. In the Constable's race for District 1, James Puckett, James Rudd on the Republican ticket, David L. Back, Hanson Rao, Cleve Cooge Howard, and Tim Pooh Bear Howard on the Democratic ticket, no change. No change for Constable District 2, Democrats Stephen Pelfrey, Stephen Lackey, Stevie Pelfrey, mind you, Stephen Lackey, Ronnie Edward Sloan, and Fonzie Howard. And for Constable in District 3 of Magoffin County, one candidate still at this time, and that being Joe Bailey. And that being all we have on the filings as of now. But as I said, January the 28th is the deadline for those individuals to file. And just a reminder, no city offices or nonpartisan races will open up for filing until after the May primary election is actually certified. So we'll have much more to come, certainly at a later date, and another update as soon as there are more names to add to the list. I'll be right back with other local headlines. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Don McFarland, and I want to be your family lawyer. Sometimes we all have troubles in our life, and when we do, it's good to have a friend that you can call on and during times of legal trouble. Please give me a call. I have been here my entire life. I was born here, I was raised here, I have a family here, and I've practiced law here since 1994. So if you ever have pain, if you ever have trouble, if you're ever in need, then pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne, 349-9000.
Sayersville Medical Center is proud to welcome their newest provider and member of the family nurse practitioner Erica Blackburn, caring for children's sick and well visits, adult acute and chronic conditions, and women's health issues. And they're pleased to invite you to join them for a meet and greet in her honor and yours on Friday, December the 13th from 3 to 5 at Sayersville Medical Center. They're serving refreshments and giving away door prizes. You don't have to be present to win, but they look forward to seeing you as they embark on their exciting future with their newest provider, Erica Blackburn, family nurse practitioner. They've got muck boots for the hills and the mud, work boots for on and off the job, like the newest and maybe most comfortable, hardest working Red Wing ever. They've got Western boots for kicking up your heels and a whole new store full of the newest styles from all the famous makers you love, like Wrangler, Carhartt, Ariat, Miss Me, Leathers by Scully, and more at the brand spanking new Red's Boot Barn in Sayersville.
At the end of every race, Mark Martin hangs up his driving gloves. He hangs up his fire suit. And he hangs up his helmet. Which is why he picks up his phone and opens the ER Extra app. The app shows ER Extra wait times, locations, and more. It's the one safeguard Mark Martin is never without. ER Extra at Paul B. Hall Regional Medical Center. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Game time means wing time at Lee's, and that means it's time for you to try our new buffalo wings. I can't tell you our secret, but I can tell you they're marinated and then rolled in our famous, albeit a little spicy, crispy chicken batter and served up with any of our 7 delectable sauces. So get your hands on a meal or a box today at your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe, where no one does chicken like we do chicken. It's so new it doesn't even have a name, but it does have an amazing taste all its own. 4 pancakes, butter, syrup, plus your choice of any of our dozens of DQ toppings with a little whipped cream on top, and of course some of our world-famous DQ soft serve. And you can add bacon, sausage, or even a little country ham for a full-blown breakfast treat. So sink your taste buds into a quarter or even half-pound grill burger fixed exactly like you like. And you want to know the best part? James says you can have either one for breakfast as early as you want, but only at your Sayersville DQ. Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley did make a court appearance earlier today after being taken into federal custody on Monday from his office in Morgan County, the West Liberty Courthouse. He was arraigned today where he formally entered a plea and then was allowed to return home. Flanked by several members of his family, Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley exited a federal courthouse in Lexington, Kentucky today after formally entering a plea of not guilty to all charges levied against him by federal authorities after a lengthy investigation that has resulted in his office and home being raided back in August and then his arrest by federal authorities on yesterday. There were some terms, however, as he was released on home incarceration. The judge ordered in the case that he is to have 0 contact with anyone, that includes any and all county employees, and that he is to have no visitors at his residence with the exception of immediate family members. Now, as for the other individuals charged in the case, Sayersville couple Kenneth and Ruth Gamble, Mr. Gamble was summoned and not taken into custody. He is ordered to appear in U.S. District Court in Lexington on Monday the 30th, but allowed to remain free pending that next hearing. He was ordered, however, to report to the United States probation officer in Frankfurt within 48 hours of receiving his summons. No date was given as to yet for the court appearance involving his wife Ruth Gamble, both of which are involved in what federal authorities say was a scheme that netted them more than $1.1 million in contracts on behalf of Connolly, who in his position as judge of Morgan County from a period of at least early 2009 all the way through August of this year, conducted a scheme of mail fraud, rigging competitive bidding processes through the Gamble's construction company, PBTHNOJJ, allowing Gamble to submit bids, then going behind closed doors and changing and altering those bids before they were to be opened in public, and then receiving kickbacks in the form of gifts and or cash from the Gambles in reward for being issued those contracts on behalf of Judge Connolly. We'll have more when the information is available. With that said, here's tonight's community calendar brought to you by our friends and your local McGoffin Farm Bureau agent, Doug Green, at 349-2416. Now, be honest with me. Look at that and tell me that isn't one of the cutest little faces you've ever seen. Well, indeed it is, and it's also breaking a child's heart. This is a lost pup in the Lacey area of Mine Fork. It's a blue heeler. He's about 10 weeks old, and his name is Mac. I'm not quite for certain how well he knows his name as of yet, but he should be hard to miss out there in that area. And the little girl who is Mac's keeper and owner, well, is heartbroken and desperate to find their new pet. So if you have any information about the whereabouts of Mac, a 10-week-old Blue Month heeler in the Lacey or Mine Fork area, the number must have been clipped off on the announcement that I have. So for now, use my phone number here at the newsroom, 349-3699, and we'll reunite a little pup with its little owner. 349-3699. I'll get you the owner's information later and request that, but I don't think it was included in the announcement, or at least it's been omitted when I printed it off. But nevertheless, Mac is missing, and we need your help finding Mac. In other announcements, North Magoffin Site-Based Council has a meeting set for tomorrow at 4 p.m. This is a regular session meeting. Once again, 4 o'clock in the school's conference room. You are now invited to attend. It's open to the public. This is from Principal Jill Howard. And as I mentioned to you on, I guess, yesterday's show, maybe Friday's as well, the Burning Fork Community Church still has their wonderful strawberries for sale, a wonderful Christmas gift idea. The ladies at the church are making and packaging and selling these, what I would consider gourmet chocolate strawberries in all sorts of flavors, all sorts. And they're going to be delivered, they're being delivered this week, but you've got one more occasion. That's December the 17th and 18th. That's next Tuesday and Wednesday for, I believe, what could be the last time. So if you want to order a box of these, they're $20 for a big, beautiful box of at least 9, and contact the church to do so, 349-6400. I showed you the picture of them earlier, and they look and taste, even better than that. So if you can, get your order in today. Get your announcements to us if you've got something you would like on our community calendar. This is how you do so. And for the past 15 years and counting, they've been free and always will be. Here tonight's funeral services. They're, as always, brought to you by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home that you can always find at McGoffinCountyFuneralHome.com as well. They tell me tonight from the McGoffin County Funeral Home that they still have incomplete arrangements made at this time in honor of 47-year-old Nellis Marie Penix of Danville, Alabama. That's Daleville, Alabama, formerly of McGoffin County. She passed away on Saturday at her home and is survived by her husband, Ronald. The funeral home tells me that arrangements are still incomplete at this time, but to be announced soon. We'll have those for you as soon as they are. And we'll be right back with more of the program after these words.
Let's do this. Can't believe my daughter wants to marry a Hatfield.
And I can't believe my son fell in love with a McCoy.
I got one thing to say. They're gonna have the wireless plan with the best service.
And I say they're gonna have the wireless plan with the biggest savings.
Daddy!
Hush up, Mary Beth.
Pa! Stay out of this, Jonah.
We're done talking.
You got that right.
Better service.
Bigger savings.
Daddy, we've both got Appalachian Wireless. Better service.
Bigger savings.
That's today's Appalachian Wireless.
From time and money-saving services like their overdraft protection, telephone and online banking services, to finding the right home, college, or car loan, to personalized checking and savings accounts designed around your exact needs, Sagersville National Bank is still your best choice and the same locally owned and operated bank that's been looking out for your family's financial health since 1902. Sagersville National, restoring the piggy bank population one savings at a time. It's a time to cherish and a time to remember the reason and to pause and relish in the joy and spread the spirit of the Christmas season. And it's best done with a holiday stop at the seasonal shop in Sagersville, where the trees from simple to lavish are all gleaming with Christmas cheer, and where the decor, the colors, textures, and designs all come together as we hope with your family and friends this Christmas. So let the seasonal shop help brighten your home with a little festive decorating, from an ornament to adorn your tree, or a complete collection to warm your hearts and homes. The region's biggest and brightest selection of holiday decor this side of the North Pole is at Fraser's Prater Drug Seasonal Shop in downtown Sagersville. The 2014 Terexes are in with a newly redesigned 800cc power plant and a new 2-seat configuration, and the XP1000 is on the ground, 107 horsepower and a world-class suspension, plus Polaris financing as low as 2.99%, 5.99 for up to 72 months, but it's only good till the end of the year at Connolly's Kawasaki and Polaris of Paintsville.
Whoa! Head over to Home Furniture to lighten my load and get a great deal. Bundle packages are here. Purchase TVs, receive your choice of a Blu-ray, DVD, Xbox 360, or Wii game system. Purchase a mattress set, get a free sheet set and mattress pad. Purchase an adult recliner, receive a free kids recliner. Financing for 36 months, 0% interest to qualified buyers. Home Furniture, Highlands Plaza, Prestonsburg.
As we remember why we honor the season and get ready to embrace a bright new year, we'd like to take just a moment to wish you and all those you know and love the merriest of Christmases and happiest of New Years. From your home away from home for short-term rehabilitation or long-term nursing needs, all with a standard of excellence and a condition of caring. Merry Christmas from Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation.
This is John at Premier Motor Sales in Paintsville. I know everyone out there is not want to spend $400 or $500 a month on a payment on a used car. If you come to Paintsville, that probably ain't going to happen, because at Premier Motor Sales we sell quality used cars at a fair price. Here's an example, a 2005 Toyota RAV4. We had it listed for $98.50, just marked it down to $88.50. It's going to be a great payment vehicle. So if you're looking for a good buy on a used car or truck or SUV, come see us. Call us at 297-4121.
I'm still awaiting some details. I'm hoping to have some information from the McGoffin County Water Department in just a few moments in regards to water outages for a lot of McGoffin County residents. One that's lasted since this past Friday, but they were hoping to get that situation remedied by this evening. Maybe a little good news to share in just a second while I'm awaiting those details, hopefully. I have some highlights, some scores for you, not necessarily highlights. We'll be getting some highlights to you. We're still very early into the high school basketball season here in the viewing area and Kentucky, and we'll go over some scores for all of our 4 viewing area teams tonight, specifically starting with the McGoffin County Hornets. The boys are still in action. That game's still scheduled for tonight. Tip-off, per my last report, still set to take place at 7:30, and they're hosting Lawrence County tonight here at home. This is the 4th game of the season for the boys. Their first game on the road was a winner against East Ridge. They've dropped the last 2, that being to Betsy Lane and Knott County Central. The Betsy Lane game was one half of a doubleheader, and the Lady Hornets also hosting Betsy Lane on the night of the 6th. They were victorious, however, 73-34. That is the one and only game for the Lady Hornets so far this season, and they're not back in action until this coming Friday night. Another doubleheader is set. The girls will play in the first game hosting Paintsville, the boys hosting Powell County in the second game. Actually, I have the same game time. I'll hold that off and verify that. A lot of game changes, as you can well imagine, due to the weather this week. We'll get that pinpointed for you. As for Johnson Central and the Golden Eagles, their first game for the boys is tonight. They've not started their season. The Lady Eagles, though, are 4 games in and 3-1 on the season, and they're on the road on the 13th this Friday at Boyd County. Once again, 3-1 already. As for Morgan County, rather Paintsville and the Tigers, they're 1-0, 65-45 against Morgan County. They're on the road at Pike Central this Thursday. The Lady Tigers are going to be away this Friday after 4 games thus far in the season. They're at 3-1 after wins over Betsy Lane, Belfry, and Lawrence County with a loss to Pikeville. And for Morgan County and the Cougars, they're even at 1-1 after a loss to Paintsville and a win to Greenup County. And they're also at home against West Carter on this coming Saturday. And for the Lady Cougars, they are 1-3. The 3 losses to Russell, Greenup, and Lewis, a 1 win against Pike Central. And they'll be back in action next on this Saturday away. Like I said, we'll have graphics and highlights for you as we get ready to get into the full swing of basketball season very, very soon. And we'll have the outcome of tonight's game for the McGoffin County Hornets on tomorrow's program. With that said, indeed, it's been a stressful several days for some residents, specifically on Bear Branch, where flooding conditions over the course of the latter part of last week knocked out their water service, and it's been a rather complicated scenario from what I understand, one that's left them without water all the way up through today. I ventured over to Bear Branch yesterday afternoon, and at that time, McGoffin County Waterworks representatives and crews were busy preparing sites on both sides of the water, awaiting a crew from out of the area to bore underneath the water, literally bore underneath the creek bed to replace a pipe that was damaged during the heavy flooding that Middle Fork saw, as it often does, towards the latter part of last week. However, with hopes of crews arriving yesterday, that didn't happen, and customers were left without water again for the next day or so, several days now since this past Friday without the service. Alan McCarty, superintendent of the McGoffin County Waterworks, tells me via this phone conversation that, however, some good news did come today with the arrival of that crew that they were waiting on. The other good news is that in addition to service being implemented and up and running, hopefully before this evening's out, it's also going to be a fix that should ensure that this doesn't happen again, at least in this exact area.
Sure. Well, as you know, we had a good flooding, and Middle Fork caught the brunt of it, as it usually does, and it took a river crossing out for us at the mouth of Bear Branch. And back when they laid the water line over through there, you had to catch the creeks dry because you had to open cut and place the water lines about 3 foot deep. And over time, that erodes even in the river's bottom, and it brings the water line to the surface. And when you get a good current going, it washes out. With new technology and the way they have machines that can bore, today we can go 10, 12 foot below the bottom of the riverbanks and the basin. So it's prudent to put it as far down under the water as you can to keep it from doing this again. And we are fortunate enough to have a boring outfit that does the best they can do to get to us. So we had to call and arrange for a boring crew to be here. And unfortunately, they wanted to be here Monday, and they just couldn't get out of the job they was in quick enough. So they got here today, and they're in the process now of boring the hole under the river for us. Once we get this in, you generally never have a problem with it again because they can go so deep. And that is one of the reasons that we want to do it right. We don't have this issue again in the future. And if they had to wait for the creek to go back down and us open cut it, you're looking at, especially this time of year, 3 weeks to a month before you could possibly get into the river. So that's just the best route to go.
What any time frame as to when service is going to be back on? It's right at about 6 o'clock as you and I are talking now.
Hopefully. A lot of it's out of your hands when you have another contractor doing it. You can just sit back and wait for them to get done. As soon as they get done, then we'll tie both ends together, start flushing the water through, and then, of course, you got to go to the end of the line and flush it out and bring good fresh water through. So it is time-consuming, but if everything goes well, we'll have it back on this afternoon.
McCarty also told me that in addition to having the crew that's been over there now for a few days, they also had to split into another crew and go to another out over in the Mine Fork area. Now, the Bear Branch area, I'm assuming probably had 40 households or so or more possibly that were affected without water since this past Friday, and having to make arrangements one way or the other. And then there was only about 4 or 5 homes, but still some homes out in the Mine Fork area today that they were doing double duty and working on both sides. But they hope to have both of them back up and running. If not now, hopefully by, well, very, very soon this evening. And we're skipping ahead weather-wise. Let me back up. But now it's time to wrap it all up with your Licking Valley RECC forecast for this evening. And with that said, we've got conditions tonight that are going to be cold, downright cold, a low of 19. But we've got colder air than this in store, so keep that in mind. Mostly clear tonight, a low of 19. Nothing exciting. No snowfall, no precipitation, just a cold winter night ahead. That's going to take us into a Tuesday where we should see some sunshine. 38 degrees expected. I'd had a daytime high today of 40 here at the newsroom, so pretty much on par for similar conditions tomorrow with a little more sunshine, and that will certainly be nice to feel on your face. Low of 16 tomorrow night, so back down into the mid-teens and a few clouds above. Now, all this is ahead of some more Arctic air that's really going to be felt by the time Thursday rolls around. Yeah, that's 27 very optimistic degrees after that Arctic air rolls in on your Thursday. And the low teens, that too might be a bit optimistic after we have sunny skies on your Thursday and clear skies at night. We might see 10, 11, 12 degrees in some areas. So it's going to be a cold one, and there's no real let up. There's a slight improvement, but still we're talking about 40, 41 degrees as the daytime high at the peak, we'll say, throughout the entire forecast period. Friday, sunny to start, 41. The nighttime low is certainly much better than the low teens at 35. We'll see that sunshine to start, but maybe give way to some rain late. The next weather maker could be in time just for your weekend, which has some rain and snow likely on Saturday. 40 for the high, 31 for the low. We're going to be kind of on the fence there at freezing or a tick or two below. That 80% chance of precipitation could be in both. A little rain and a little snow likely on Saturday. We're still a little too far out to call, but that looks to be your next big weather maker or next weather maker. I don't know if I want to put the big word big as a preface in there, but Friday night into your Saturday, and then Sunday things will start to dry up. Partly sunny, still 34 at best for daytime highs, a low of 20. Another chance of some showers late Sunday night. And then Monday of next week, 32 degrees, a low of 23. Tuesday, I think we'll hit back around 40, 41. But there is no relief in sight. Winter is here, and perhaps with a vengeance, all the way through the forecast period. That's my time. As always, thank you so much for being a part of it. We hope to see you back here tomorrow night with more of Your News Today and more news that you'll only see with me. Thanks for watching, and stay warm. Good night, everybody.